Good morning, everyone. EagleX from ATX EagleX Gaming here today, and I have today's Market Watch for April 15th. If you guys enjoy this content, I appreciate if you can like, comment, subscribe, and if you guys read the description below, I do have my YouTube's Discord up and running, the Eagles Next. It's a place where I want the community to grow, be able to run tournaments online, and most importantly, have fun. So if you guys do have a moment, go ahead and click the description down below. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started with today's Market Watch. So I always like starting out with sealed product. And when we look at sealed product, we see 1.0 is at the top of that sealed end, and at the bottom is Classic Collection, which is dropping more and more every day. It feels it's just barely 40 bucks if you count taxes, shipping, and all that. And then towards the middle, you have, towards the higher end, you actually have Double Diamond and 1.5 being the next two most expensive. And for Double Diamond, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure why. My closest guess is the fact that you have the 1-year anniversary toppers, which could be an Upamon or Vmon. But other than that, I don't think there's many SRs that stand out. Because I think Jesmon's the most expensive one at like $2, or not $5. So yeah, if you guys have any idea for why that is, besides the 1-year packs maybe, I'd love to hear it down below in the comments. And this is going to be my first time doing this on video, but I have this sheet. It's my Market Watch sheet. And this is something I'm going to be using to keep track and kind of showing you what I'm doing when I make purchases and investments in the card game. And I'm going to be talking about why some of these cards today. So first of all, we got regular Nokias, we got Starter Deck Vmons, a Sundarizmon promo, and Black or Greymon Dash Pack promo. And when I check this out on TCG Player, I get 54.42 for my total. So I'm doing a starting amount of $200. This is the amount remaining value after cash, and this is my inventory for the cards that I took when I valued them at market pricing. Now you do lose some money on taxes, and when you sell, there will be some fees taken out. But don't worry, I'll get to that when I get to it in another week. But anyways, so the reason I'm talking about some of those cards. First, let's go ahead and talk about our BT7 format. We have Tamers, and we just got announcements of a delay for BT8, so we're going to be in this format a bit longer. But you can tell people were already moving on, with their pre-release TK Karis being $9, their Box Topper Sword Joes being $9. Like, people are dumping some of their high-end Tamers to move on and move funds for the next set. And the only one that's probably notable for next set still is the Yellow Tamers and Nokia. And just covering some more of BT7 cards. Remember when I told you guys that stamped cards were really worth looking at last week? Because the prices were really good. It was like $30 for Jet Sylphie and not even $20 for Zephyr. Well, they're starting to bounce back up again for some of the yellow hybrid cards that have good longevity. So I would definitely look into some of these stamp cards that are good in the long run before it go up anymore. And one of them is Doraemon, because I don't think there is an alt-art of him still. Next thing I want to cover, Fest cards. We know this is relatively new. These have been flooded in the market, but we still have some prices moving, and we have some very stable prices now. First things that are pretty stable is the Diaboromon promo, Pulsemon promo, and Palmon promo. Those are all very stable at 20, 15, and 10 respectively. The purple Demimera egg is probably going to be the max rarity of this egg because of the foiling on it. And ease of accessibility for now, even if they would have an alt-art in the future. Diaboromon tokens, they're sitting around 20 bucks right now. Whether they're selling or not, you can take a look at sales history, and you can see people actually have been paying that $20 a pop. And last thing I kind of want to talk about here with Fest cards is the Agumon here. This Agumon is going to be used in Black or Greymon, and you'll see that in the upcoming portion. So this is one I would definitely be looking out for. Now, I kind of want to touch up on some more unique cards before we get to the meta, because it's easy to talk about meta cards, but bring up some unique cards that you guys may not realize. So everyone's probably familiar with the Tamer Party Greymon here. But have you guys seen the second volume Tamer Party cards, like the Lilymon and the Weregarurumon? Well, these are kind of niche to find, to be honest. So if you're a collector that likes certain cards, these are the type of cards I would recommend you look at. The Tamer Party Volume 2 are definitely a really decent pickup right now. Tamer Party Volume 3, they're a little bit newer and easier to find right now, but they're still kind of niche. So if you collect any of these cards, they're definitely something I would be looking at getting. A Caramon's probably a really good longevity one and playable one also. Now I want to talk about some alt-art memory boosts, because these are cards that have longevity in play as well, and I think they're very good pickups in price also. Also, who can't love seeing the little baby eggs eat their food? I mean, the little spaghetti Koromon. Come on. And then next niche thing I kind of want to talk about for collectability are the regional cards. I want to give a shout out to my friend Demolished on not TCG player, but on Discord, a friend in our locals area, ATX area. He kind of recommended, he's like, Zach, you should really be looking at these regional cards. We don't really have any more regionals. I think he said Europe had one in like June, but we don't know if we're going to get a reprint of any of these cards again. So it's something to look out for, especially if you like collecting them. If you're a Machine Dramon player and you like collecting Machine Dramon, it's not bad to pick up the Participant one for like $3 and the Finalist one for like $26. Because you can see it's way below the market of what they were selling at, just because no one's picking them up right now. So definitely a time you want to pick them up as there's less demand for them, but the supply will dry up. Because if you look at listings, there's not many. There's like 9 to 16 listings on average, so they're going to be hard to find in the future. Now, we've talked about collectability. We've talked about some niche and current relevant format cards. I want to go ahead and talk about some of the upcoming meta cards. We're talking about Armor Rush. Armor Rush is a deck that utilizes the new Armor Evolutions and the Vmon line in particular, because they're all Armor Evos of Vmon. And there's some cards I want to point out that are staples. And this is one deck list. You can find multiple of them, and they all build slightly different. But this kind of features everything all together. And some cards I want to pay attention to that we have access to right now. We got Blue Upamon Egg. He's $7. If you guys don't have him, you may want him. If you don't have Upamon Egg, Demi Vmon is a great alternative. I do want to point out, this egg is $2 now. I remember when he was 50 cents for the longest time. If you attack with jamming, draw a card. So if you have jamming Vmon, you're guaranteed to draw. And speaking of jamming Vmon, we're going to talk about Vmon real quickly. Vmon is going to be very high demand, guys. If you play Armor Rush, a lot of these Vmons are 4 of. And the most notable one here is the jamming Vmon at the moment. Do a quick refresh. I've been selling copies of this Vmon for $15 lately. I have lots of them at playsets. It's a card I've been investing in and telling you guys to pick up. And your time is about to run out on these before they go up even more. We also have Starter Deck Vmon here. He is also played, not always in a 4 of, but he is played. In this list, he is a 4 of. And then if you're not running him, EX1 Vmon is also very playable. And as you can see, the market price is going up, which means on average his sales are around $1.50 plus shipping on top of that. So look out for your Vmons for Armor Rush. Next, we're going to be talking about Mastemon, the starter deck. And one thing you kind of have to keep in mind when you look at some of these builds is Eismon is getting limited. So if you have a build that uses the Eismon package, just be aware of it. But this is going to be more of a Mega Zoo security control style deck. And some important cards that I've been telling you guys about. First of all, Magna Angemon. This is a 1.0 SR, so it's going to be harder to find compared to some other SRs. You got to think about cards like Davis. He's a rare tamer that's almost $20 at his peak that you use as like a 3 to 4 of in a lot of blue decks. He's not even an SR slot. He's just a rare slot. But then you talk about an older set and a higher rarity. It makes sense that this is a higher dollar card. And Will it stick at this price? It'll probably stick as long as this card sees play in this upcoming set. And I hate to say it, but this card might end up spiking at the start of the Mastamon starter deck format. So just keep your eye out for it at least, and try to get some deals if you can. Next one is Lucemon Chaos Mode. Lucemon Chaos Mode is a card that we are seeing at $20 for the longest time. And this is a new approach I want to take on trying to price some cards. If we look over at some of these Japan singles sites, we see the Chaos Mode is 4,980 Japanese yen. And on this site, we see the regular art's basically 4,000. The alt art is that price. So more fair price is probably like 4,500 yen. But if we do conversion from the last site, roughly $31. And if we go right in the middle of roughly 4,500, he's like a $35 card, which is actually pretty comparable to our price now. So this is probably going to be a relatively good settling price for the card, if I had to predict. But it doesn't mean it's going to hold up the same, because Japan is in a different place than we are for our format. But Chaos Mode and Magna Angemon are your like optimal card targets for Mastamon's Jogger's Effect. And then in addition to that, another card we do have access to right now is Zort Defeat. Guys, this is another ticking time bomb I would be worrying about. This card, he hit a peak of like $65 when Security Control was big in BT6 for Nationals. And the reason I bring him up is because Mastamon has this little effect here. It says all turns when you play another Digimon buy an effect. So this can be from Security. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a level less than or equal to the played Digimon's level. Zort Defeat has a play cost of 15. That's basically a Gaia Force in the format that we'll be caring about. So make sure you have them picked up now. Next deck I want to talk about, X-Antibody. So in this deck, we're going to be looking, and you'll see there's some cards we have right now that have a you can get right now, and it's basically your BT7 cards. A few exceptions to the BT7 cards are the Cinerizimon promos and the Alphamons. Alphamons, there they are. Alphamon was awkwardly released in BT6, and he is going to become the main boss monster of the deck because of the Orumon. It's inheritable that says if this has Alphamon in its name, unsuspend it at the end of attack. So Alphamon will become your main boss monster, and Doragoromon will become kind of like your support Digimon. So if we're talking about like blinging out this deck, making it look nice, what's worth getting? I already talked about Doruemon, I believe would be a solid pickup for a stamped egg. However, the Doru Greymon is something I would not pick up stamped, especially if you guys can wait, because we do know there will be a parallel art that Japan has already, and we will get in the not near future, but eventually. But this is the Doru Greymon from BT7. So if you guys can wait for this parallel art, I would go ahead and wait. But Cinerizimon promo is going to be something that it's dipping right now because we have mounts entered into the market from the Buy a Box promo. However, I don't see this price holding forever, as this is a card you want as a 4-of in the black decks. So definitely try picking them up while they're at their low. So this is why it's a card that I put on my buy list that I would definitely look at getting myself. Next card I want to talk about, Dorumon, the Rookie. Now, if you guys look at this and you're like, Zach, we know the alt art is sky high. It's huge. It's like $60. Well, the reason I bring this up is because if you look over in Japan's meta, they're in BT9, so BT7 is 2 sets old. But if you look at their Dorumons, 400 Japanese yen. Look at their Dorumons, 480 Japanese yen. So if we average that out to like 440 between the two, it's like a $3.50 rare. If you guys don't have these rares, I would definitely pick it up now, because when we get to BT9, where X-Antibody is still getting support, and you're trying to find an older rare, it will go up in price. So it's something I'm going to be putting on the radar of, hey, this may even go up and be worth investing in. I know I have my play set of the alt arts already. So just something to think about, because it will be getting more support for the next few sets. And then Alphamon, that's the boss monster. He's $33 now. Everyone was ready for the day of him being played. The alt art is probably a very solid scoop up at 45 compared to the 33 for the regular art. That's your call if you like the alt art versus regular art, but just something to be aware of. Next deck we're going to talk about Red, Black, Black War Greymon. So in this deck, this is the red base variant. There is a black base variant, but there are some cards I want to point out. First, the Coromon Egg. This is like your 4 of egg in a lot of builds, and this was bulk. As you can see, it's been skyrocketing. I've actually sold copies of this on TCG Player when I don't really sell bulk normally. And that just means that the listings are getting bought up faster and faster, and then they're being harder to find. So if you guys don't have your BT5 Coromon eggs, I would definitely look out for it. There is another rarity of it. You do have the stamped one, and you do have the Evo Cup ones. And on a similar note, the Greymons. This is another card I've actually been selling too, and I don't sell bulk normally on TCG Player. You got the Event Pack 2 one for Max Rarity, and you got the one from BT5. Definitely look at getting copies of these because they're older uncommons now, as we're entering a BT8 format, and this is 3 sets old. And then I want to talk about the Nokia Tamer. Real quickly, if we look at this list, the reason I say Nokia Tamer is because on play, she plays an Agumon. Guess what? She doesn't care what color Agumon you play. So we have a new optimal card call target to search. You can use the BT5 Agumon to search. Also, during your turn, you can suspend her to reduce the cost of a Greymon or Omnimon. Guess what? Everything in the list is a Greymon or Omnimon. So that's like something I just want to bring to your guys' attention. Like, it is a very staple card, and that's why Nokia was one of those cards I put on my buy list. Then the Metal Greymon from EX1. If you care about max rarity, his alt art has been spiking and going up, and it's something I would pick up sooner than later because he is played in the deck because he has piercing for the inheritable. Yeah, you see there's going to be a slow uptick. So just be aware, this card will be going up faster than you might realize. Then if you're playing the red base version, you typically run the War Greymons. Notable ones here to point out is the Blitz War Greymon from EX1. As an SR, he's like 52 cents, averaging $1.50 or $1.20 in sales. Definitely look at getting your copies of him. Yellow War Greymon is more for the future in X-Antibody decks, because there is an O2K with him. And when he's super cheap, sub-dollar SR that's playable, something worth looking into. And then Black War Greymons, you guys know, these guys have spiked. But if I'm to make an investment, I think the Dash Pack one is very solid at sub $2 or around $2. So I would pick up some of these also, just because he does see play in the black version of this list with the Black War Greymon. And finally, to close out MarketWatch, I want to talk about BT9 deck, guys. I don't like talking that far ahead all the time, but it's something I want to bring awareness to, because we have access to very few cards in the list, but the most important one that doesn't really see play is the Where Garuru and the Garuru promos. This Garuru promo has no printing, no reprint, so being at $3, he is going to be very sticky once he gets bought out. Where Garuru, on the other hand, he is needed as a 4-of in that deck. However, he does have the regional printings, something I would definitely look at picking up more copies of. We do have 36 on the market, so it's not ready to be bought out entirely anytime soon, but just something I would keep your eye on. If you guys enjoyed this Market Watch, please let me know. If you appreciate it, comment, rate, subscribe, and don't forget to join the Discord. With that being said, take care, y'all.